Well, happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Sydney here with Tim and Hunter.
Hello,
it's been a while since you and I have anchored together.
This is a big moment for us. I was like about to say, welcome to Sunday morning, and then we were a little confused there. And Tim, this is I think this is the first time I've been at the table with you.
This is very exciting for us.
Wow, this is a big day for me.
Well, we're so excited, and welcome again to the 4 to 5.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Frost is something we're going to be watching out for that we'll talk about a little bit.
It's the time of year where you can't be fooled, right? The afternoon, sunny and warm, you can still have the cold night. So we're going to talk about that in a few.
But at first, we got a big festival to talk about.
Lots of food. Are you ready? Get your appetites ready. We have less than a week to prepare. If that doesn't make you drool, I don't know what does. For the 39th annual Lexington BBQ Festival. The barbecue event goes down this weekend in Uptown Lexington. There will be more than 300 businesses and vendors selling their items, as well as tons of entertainment and contests. Mayor of Lexington, Jason Hayes, says he's excited to welcome the more than 100,000 visitors that are expected to attend the event.
Barbecue and pit cook barbecue is really ingrained into everyone that grows up here or folks that come here from all over to experience the flavor, the uniqueness. And I won't get into east versus west versus anything, but I love Lexington barbecue.
Mayor Hayes says last year was the first year back after a 2-year hiatus from the pandemic, but he anticipates it being better and bigger than ever this year. Hayes says the city started planning as soon as last year's festival ended. The businesses that are cooking up the flavor are in full preparation mode. Michael Conrad, the owner of the Barbecue Center, has been a part of the festival since it began 39 years ago. His restaurant, along with Stamey's, Speedy's, and Smokey Joe's Barbecue, each prepare 2,000 pounds of cooked meat. Yeah. Conrad says he cooks an additional 2,000 pounds for his restaurant because of the business the festival brings in. Now, while it looks like it might be competing for business and they're going head to head with their cooking, Conrad says it's like bringing the family together.
We work together this day, and then people don't understand that we get together behind the scenes the rest of the year helping each other out. So it's not a competition. We all have our business, and we're just a big family.
Now take note too, the sandwich you get at the event might look similar, but the flavor will be different based on the time you go, because each barbecue joint has their own sauce on what they are serving. The barbecue festival starts Saturday morning at 8:30 with barbecue tents opening around 10.
And with over 200,000 people expected to attend the barbecue festival, businesses have been preparing for months to get ready.
What we normally do is we hire my dad as kind of a bouncer for the place, because as you can see, our store is pretty narrow and there's a lot of stuff in here. So we kind of have him come in to help us kind of keep the crowds at a certain number in here, just because we don't want people shoulder to shoulder shuffling through.
Backyard Retreat manager and future owner Matt Taylor appreciate the increased revenue the barbecue festival brings. Situated in a prime spot on Main Street, the Backyard Retreat is an oasis for festival goers looking to break from the crowds. The Garden Gift Shop stocks up on Christmas decor, knowing customers like to get a jump start on holiday shopping. And a couple blocks down Main Street at the Candy Factory, employees are baking stockpiles of their signature antique candy and fudge. Annette and Wynn Conrad have owned the Candy Factory since 2018. The week before the festival, they pre-make hundreds of pounds of fudge and pre-bag popular candies so they can accommodate the large crowds on festival day.
Usually from the time we open our doors that morning, we have a steady stream of customers. We allow a certain number of folks in the building at the time for safety reasons, obviously. And it's a great experience, hopefully, for them to see what we have to offer and maybe decide they want to come back and visit Lexington again.
All right, well, here's the lineup for festival events coming Saturday morning. The opening ceremony begins at 9 at the grandstand being set up at the historic courthouse. The parade of pigs will follow at 9:15 down on Main Street from 3rd Street to 3rd Avenue. And entertainment will begin around 10 with concerts, contests, dance performances throughout the rest of the day. And the festival is slated to end around 6 p.m., followed by the finale concert at the Breeden Insurance Amphitheater. You can find more information on our website.
And just in case you missed the opportunity during the state fair, Amtrak is again offering round-trip train rides, but this time to the barbecue festival. NC by Train will make 10 stops unloading and boarding passengers at the Lexington Hospitality Center, which is only 1 block from the festival. Passengers can catch a ride to Lexington at any of the stops between Charlotte and Raleigh. You can buy those tickets online now by going to ncbytrain.org and using the station code LEX or LEX. Now, the mayor of Lexington says where that train stops is where the new passenger rail station will also be. It will be spearheaded by Siemens Mobility, which just broke ground on that $220 million train manufacturing facility. And this is where the mayor says basically we're meeting barbecue and trains. That's what he hopes the area is known for, is both of those, not just barbecue.
Yeah, I love when Amtrak trains, they offer rides to big events like this because, you know, whenever you park at these places, sometimes it's so hard to find a parking space, and sometimes you just want to get off the train, enjoy the event, and so that's one less thing you have to deal with, parking.
It's very true. And the other thing that you should take note of, we're going to be there. Right?
Yes, of course.
That's true.
All throughout the day, loads of us, so we're excited about that. But got a big question. You guys love you some barbecue?
Oh, yeah.
Of course, that's not a question. That's
You know,
just like
some people,
a statement.
but some people would rather have the sides. They rather not have, you know, like a barbecue sandwich or anything of that nature, but they'd rather have different kinds of sides.
I have heard that. I did run into people today who said that.
Like mac and cheese,
Hush
coleslaw,
Hush puppy.
I mean, like that. If I'm going barbecue already, like I just want to go all in with the bad food.
That's
So
right.
Give me the hush puppies too.
You're like my dad. Yo, you'd be best friends with him.
Banana pudding too. At the end.
Well, let's talk about the weather going into that festival too.
Okay, I'll tell you. Some years we're stressed out about barbecue festival weather. No stress, no mess. We're good this year. Well, there might be some mess, but it's not weather. It is the barbecue juice on your bib when you're eating it, I guess. Here is the sky today. I think the sky will be similar to that coming up on Saturday in Lexington. This is how we stand right now in Greensboro. Couldn't really be better. It is a cool afternoon, 67 degrees, your current number. Now the dew point, 24 degrees. The humidity is 20%. It is one of those chapstick kind of a days. What I mean by that is when you have that very low humidity, we're starting to get into that dry skin season. If you haven't noticed it already, you're probably going to notice that pretty soon. That's kind of where we stand currently. Now, numbers are also the same in Burlington. And let's take a look at some of your hometowns. All of us are very comfortable today in the mid to upper 60s, maybe a few spots right around 70 degrees. That's where we are right now, but we are still going to talk about cold air. Overnight tonight, take a look. The rural outlying areas have a great chance of being in the low to mid 30s again. It happened this morning. It will happen again overnight tonight. So what I want you to know is that patchy frost is not a guarantee, but it's possible. And if you have plants that don't like that sort of thing, that you want to keep around a little while longer, go ahead and cover them up. I would do it now. You don't wait until later on tonight. Go ahead and cover them up now. They will appreciate it for sure. Now, the forecast does not look like October. This looks a little bit more like September for sure. We're getting warmer every day, mid and upper 70s. By the weekend, it's pushing 80 degrees on Saturday and Sunday. It'll feel like a little bit of a time jump back a couple of weeks.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. A Greensboro police officer is on administrative duty. It comes after a shooting over Saturday night. The department says it happened during a traffic stop on Lee's Chapel Road. They say the officer tried to pull a car over, but the suspect drove off, which prompted a pursuit. Investigators say the officer tried to get the suspect out of the car when the driver drove towards them, and that's when the officer opened fire. No one was injured in the shooting, but the driver of the car and a passenger were taken to the hospital after being taken into custody.
Police are looking for 2 suspects who robbed a popular burger joint in Winston-Salem. Police say 2 suspects robbed Bad Daddy's Burger Bar at gunpoint last night. Investigators say the suspects forced the manager into a separate room and got away with some money. No one was injured. If you have any information that might help law enforcement, you can leave an anonymous tip by calling Crime Stoppers.
Guilford Metro 911 is launching a new tool to focus on community engagement. On Wednesday, they will be implementing a new service that uses text to contact some 911 callers that have recently reported or been involved in a non-life-threatening incident. It will ask them to take a quick survey about their experience with the 911 center. The hope is that it provides them with information to better serve the community.
Every 10 minutes, someone is added to the national transplant waiting list. Stephen Bagby found himself on that list for the first time over a decade ago. Now, after one transplant, he's back on the list again, searching for a second kidney. WFMY News 2's Nixon Norman shares his story.
Stephen Bagby is a local business owner.
I come in, I do what I can, and then I have to go to treatment.
And loyal father of 5.
He's a great and patient dad.
Currently searching for a living kidney donor. This isn't the first time Bagby's body failed him. He first found out his kidneys weren't functioning properly in his mid-20s.
I came home from work one day, and I had a lot of swelling in my legs. My wife says, honey, that's not normal. So we went to the doctor, they ran some tests, and they said, hey, your kidney function has gone way down.
The condition of his kidneys was linked to an untreated case of strep throat. In 2013, he received his first kidney transplant.
There was a family friend who had an accident at work, and he ended up brain dead.
He now has 3 kidneys. His 2 native kidneys weren't removed as they did not pose a threat to his health. They just didn't work. But now his transplant is failing too.
Currently, none of them are working. So they would go in and add another one.
Bagby's wife and co-owner of their heating and cooling company has been by his side throughout this entire journey. And while the two remain hopeful, Bagby has already been waiting nearly 3 years for another kidney.
It's anywhere from 5 to 7 years. In our area, it's about 7 years.
When asked what a transplant would give the couple and parents of 5, they both said time. More time with their children, their company, and with each other. If you're looking to donate or see if you are a match for Stephen, we'll have more information on how to sign up over on WFMYnews2.com. The questionnaire takes about 4 minutes, and you're not locked in to any decisions.
Welcome back. It is cranberry harvest season in Wisconsin. And did you know that Wisconsin is the largest cranberry producer in the United States?
I did not know that. I would say cheese.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know. I just didn't think it would be cranberry, but now we know.
Now we know. Well, students at One Central Wisconsin High School are learning that and more in a class structured all around cranberries.
Everybody, if I can have your attention, I'll explain what's going on here.
This is Cody Miller's classroom.
This yellow thing you see around these berries, that's called a boom.
But instead of being the student,
make sure no berries are slipping out.
This Pittsville high school senior is the teacher.
Empty one of these, it takes us about normally 2 hours.
Answering questions from people eager to learn about the harvest at Whitetail Cranberry in Necedah.
And they can flow in different gates, which are called flow gates.
This tour is called Splash of Red.
That sprays the berries into the box.
And it's run entirely by students in Pittsville's Cranberry Sciences program.
We do believe we're the only cranberry science class that's taught in our entire nation.
Lindsay Meisner teaches the class.
Well, my favorite part is absolutely seeing the students build their public speaking skills and just really them grow their confidence in themselves.
And that's particularly true for Miller.
We have it normally set at 32 degrees, I believe.
He took the week off school to help with this harvest.
I still got a lot to learn, but I got the basics of it.
He corrals the berries, pushes them towards the berry pump, where they're then transported to a sorter and loaded onto the truck. What are some of the most frequent questions you get from people about cranberries?
How deep the ditches are, how long it takes to harvest them.
The Splash of Red Cranberry tours run for 6 weeks in the fall. They have 1,000 people during that time.
I'm usually booking out for the next coming year tour season, so we are becoming very popular.
The school students did a fantastic job.
Alice Resch,
very informative,
came up from Germantown to take the tour, taking away some fun facts.
For the interior of the cranberries to freeze takes a month.
That appreciation goes far beyond Wisconsin.
Last week we had some people that were all the way from Taiwan. We've had people from China, Australia. We get people from all over the world.
Caden Schiller is also a senior in the class.
I've been working in the cranberry field for about 5 years now.
The students know the importance of the cranberry industry to the area. It's how Schiller spends his summers.
On Monday, I'll be down in Toma, and then on Tuesday, I'll be over in Wisconsin Rapids, so I'm all over the place.
Wisconsin produces just over 60% of our nation's cranberries, so extremely important.
The work the students do during the semester sets them up for a potential career.
They're trying to teach them to go into the workforce, and I think it's very interesting.
The harvest, both beautiful and interesting, and a chance for students like Miller,
as you can see, it's a little more smaller than those,
to teach, learn, and grow.
I have learned a lot from it. I'd say it's pretty fun.
Ooh,
there you go.
I love cranberry juice, I'll tell you that. But you know,
you have them to thank.
That's right. And as I was sitting here watching that would be really nice to just pull up a lawn chair or just sit there and watch that entire process. I don't know, that was just all interesting to me to just look at all of the different cranberries out there in that water and them maneuvering through it.
What is that? It's like you get like the satisfaction
look
of
at
just
all
like
that.
watching. It's very soothing.
I think so.
It's like
it's
I don't know
the
what is that
soothing.
word that I'm looking for to describe that?
I can't think of the word either,
It's
but
very
I know what you're talking
methodical.
about.
Like it's almost like it's kind of like, reminds me of like, you're mowing the lawn. Like you just go in like a strip, and that's what they're doing down there in the bog. Is it a bog? I guess.
A bog. Wow, you're advanced on.
Well, hey, we just learned a little bit. It's always fun to me when you're learning something about something you never even thought about.
Right.
Like I never thought about how do they do the harvesting of cranberries.
Right. Some
There's
you don't think
probably
about.
a process for everything that we eat that we don't really think about.
I just want to know how much sugar is going into that cranberry juice because I bought it without the sugar and it was awful.
Oh, really?
Unsweetened cranberry juice.
You won't find any cranberry juice without sugar.
Don't do it, guys. That's my suggestion for you.
We'll be right back.
Here's your school lesson.
All right, welcome back. I have something to talk to you about this week, but not a lot, because mostly the weather is going to be gorgeous. We're talking about sunshine pretty much every day. The main thing to mention is just the variance of the temperatures. So we're talking about fall weather here, where you can have cold mornings, but occasionally some really warm afternoons, and that's what we have for you this week. First things first, we're going to be talking about patchy frost, which is possible for tomorrow morning. Maybe you woke up with some of that earlier this morning. Same type of deal for tomorrow. Also getting warmer every day, and by the weekend, we really could have a fall weekend with temperatures in the 80s. Like it or not, that is the way that I see it for this weekend, not sweater weather. Temperatures currently are in the 60s locally, but you look across the country, see the warmth. It's around 90 in Mississippi. It is 85 right now in Kansas City in October. Strange stuff, but that is where some of the warm air is gathering, and it will be getting a little bit closer to us day by day. You'll notice we just have a lot of high pressure overhead, and we will get that wind coming in out of the south and west by the middle of the week, and so we boost into the mid 70s as early as Wednesday, and then by the end of things, that's when we're getting up to around 80 by Friday and into the low 80s by Saturday and Sunday. Hey, there's also a hurricane that's still out there too. This is Hurricane Tammy. Winds are at 80 miles per hour. We haven't mentioned it all that much because it really is not coming very close to us, but it is going to be worth watching going into early next week. It's starting to curve as it weakens and falls away by Monday or so. We'll see how close it gets to the U.S. I think it'll fizzle out before that happens. We will keep you up to date. Look how crazy this is. No rain, sunshine every day, cold mornings, but warm afternoons, around 80 by the weekend.
This might be every homeowner's nightmare. One Georgia woman is searching for a place to stay after her home was demolished while she was vacationing. Susan Hodgson says she can't even begin to process how her longtime family property ended in a pile of rubble. All she knows is that an Atlanta demolition company accidentally leveled the wrong home. Now, the chaos actually started before she could even get home, after being notified by a neighbor that her home was destroyed.
Did you hire somebody to tear your house down next door to me that's been boarded up for about 15 years? And I said, no. She said, well, there's somebody over here just demolished the whole house and tore the whole house down.
Hodgson says she sent a family member to the home, and that's when workers allegedly got nasty. She says they told them to shut up and mind their own business, so they asked for the work order.
I want to see a permit or something. And he said, okay. He pulls it out and he says, oh, I'm at the wrong address. And just packs everything up and leaves. And the house is deplored down, gone.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh, Hodgson says she hasn't heard anything from the company responsible. That company, you call it, we haul it. She says she deserves an apology, and I think that is well deserved, as well as the house needing to be rebuilt.
Absolutely. I mean, what a nightmare to walk, towards, to see your house. I mean, destroyed like that, you know? Can't imagine many memories and moments that she has shared within that house as a whole, and to see that, I mean, I'm in disbelief.
Outrageous.
Ugh.
Really? I mean, this is not like getting the package delivered to a wrong house.
Yeah,
like
right.
That's something that happens. This is a big deal.
That's a very big deal. I mean, you think homeowners, they spend so much money to find the perfect house, right? And then depending on where she was at in that process, I mean, she could have had that whole house paid off. And
absolutely.
she's got that
many
taken care
different
of.
scenarios.
I can't even comprehend like coming home on vacation. You're supposed to relax.
Imagine being that neighbor too, just making the phone call and saying, do you know what's going on over here? That's just crazy.
They're gonna have to make it right. I mean, they're gonna have to rebuild it. You're gonna have to pay for her to have a place to stay for the next year or whatever.
Yeah.
If she lived here, she'd call Kevin Kennedy.
Yeah.
He would
And
fix
it'd
it.
be done. It'd be taken care of.
Maybe he can help.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
We'll see you at 4:30.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination.
Welcome to your 4 to 5. The time now is 4:31. We begin in Israel. They have ramped up airstrikes across Gaza as the threat of a ground invasion looms even closer. It comes as a terrorist organization known as Hamas has just released 2 more hostages.
CBS News has learned the U.S. is pressing Israel to delay a ground war. It's in an effort to secure the return of hostages and usher in critical aid. Tina Kraus has the latest.
Israel's military says it launched more than 300 airstrikes over the past day, aimed at Hamas operational infrastructure and military targets in the Gaza Strip. Israeli defense forces have also started limited ground raids in Hamas-controlled territory. This Tier 1 commando says he's already spent 5 days fighting Hamas militants inside Israel's borders.
We didn't sleep, we didn't eat. We fought all the time.
There could be more of that if Israel follows through with a ground invasion. The Biden administration said today it does not dictate Israel's military response, but U.S. officials have been pushing to prioritize the release of more than 200 hostages and the delivery of humanitarian aid in Gaza.
It is literally an hour-by-hour effort here at the White House and at the State Department to find out where these folks are and to try to make the effort to get them out.
Israeli officials confirm Hamas released 2 elderly women just today, in addition to the 2 American women freed on Friday. There are still many hostages held in Gaza, their conditions unknown. Rachel Goldberg has no proof her American-born son, Hirsch, is still alive.
I really would love to talk to Hamas. I don't know of situations where people steal 85-year-old grandmothers and 2-year-old children and hippies who are dancing barefoot at a music festival.
This is a situation that no democracy can live with.
This helicopter pilot, deployed right after the attack, tells CBS News Israeli troops will do whatever it takes to protect their country.
And the U.S. says getting that aid of food, water, and medicine to displaced Palestinians is critically important. So far, the Biden administration says there's no evidence that any of that aid has ended up in the hands of Hamas militants.
One thing we want to make sure you know about is that tonight there could be some frost that forms. Now, some of you woke up to some of that this morning as temperatures did get pretty chilly. That same thing could happen again, and that is something to consider when you're thinking about what kind of plants you still have going outside and whether or not to cover them up. Right now we're seeing beautiful sunshine. Temperatures are in the 60s. It's plenty warm outside currently, but we are poised to drop really quickly by early tomorrow morning. Your numbers right now all in the 60s to right around 70 degrees currently, but over the next couple of hours we'll be in the 40s as early as 11 o'clock this evening and then down into the mid 30s early tomorrow morning. It'll depend on where you are. If you're in some of the more urban areas, you could hang right around 40, but elsewhere it could get as cold as 34. And yes, you might want to cover up the plants. You should know which ones tend to have trouble with this kind of stuff. Just a light blanket would be absolutely fine to keep them around. Mums, they love it. They don't care if it's cold. You'll be fine with the mums. 70s the rest of the week. We're around 80 by the weekend. Coming up, we'll show more about that extended forecast.
Nearly 3 weeks into the process, House Republicans need to find a new candidate to be the Speaker of House. Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan dropped out on Friday after he realized he couldn't get enough votes to win the speakership. Natalie Brand has more details from Capitol Hill.
On day 20 without a Speaker of the U.S. House, Republicans are starting the process all over again.
This is probably one of the most embarrassing things I've seen, because if we don't have a Speaker of the House, we can't govern. And every day goes by, we're essentially shut down as a government.
9 candidates are now vying for the gavel. They'll make their case to their colleagues behind closed doors Monday evening. Minnesota Congressman Tom Emmer, who is already in a House leadership position as Majority Whip, has won the support of former Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
He sets himself head and shoulders above all those others who want to run. We need to get him elected this week and move on.
Congressman Emmer and one other candidate, Georgia's Austin Scott, are the only 2 on the list of Speaker hopefuls who voted to certify the 2020 election. But Emmer's vote could put him at odds with ardent supporters of former President Donald Trump.
Well, I think he's my biggest fan now because he called me yesterday and he told me I'm your biggest fan. So I don't know about that.
Internal GOP divisions have made it impossible so far for any one lawmaker to gain the 217 votes needed for a majority on the House floor. Yet Republicans are hoping to unite behind a speaker nominee as early as tomorrow.
And House Republicans are scheduled to hold secret ballots Tuesday morning to determine who will be their speaker nominee. With 9 candidates in the race, that balloting process could take a while to play out.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. Spirit Airlines canceled nearly 100 flights over the weekend. The budget airline is pulling planes out of service for what it calls necessary inspections. Spirit says the disruption is expected to last several days and have warned passengers to check their flight status before heading to the airport.
The United Auto Workers Union has expanded their strike yet again. Today, workers at a Stellantis pickup truck plant in Michigan walked off the job. The move comes just 3 days after the union president reported progress in talks with Stellantis and General Motors, but said both need to make better offers. No progress was reported with Ford. The union also says no longer is it waiting until Friday to announce new strike targets.
Martin Scorsese's Killer of the Flower Moon had a strong opening weekend, but it wasn't enough to overtake Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour. Now, the Swift concert film grossed around $31 million to hold on to the top spot over the weekend. According to AMC Theaters, the historical film about the Osage killings took in around $23 million. Now, Killers of the Flower Moon is distributed by Paramount Pictures, which has the same parent company as CBS News.
And Chipotle has announced its popular burrito deal with it back to being Halloween. Now, Chipotle loyalty reward members can get $6 burritos, salads, tacos, and other entrees on Halloween from 3 p.m. through closing at locations nationwide using that code BOORITO.
Well, fall is in full swing and the time is now to get out and enjoy the fall colors and cool weather before winter sets in, of course. And there's plenty of outdoor activities to get into. In Kernersville, you can check out a corn maze or pumpkin patch at Kernersville Pumpkins and Christmas trees. We caught up with the owners over the weekend. They say Saturday was the busiest day in their last 15 years.
So we usually sell through Halloween, so we'll be out here October 31st will be our last sales day, and then we have people that come out November 1st and 2nd that might want to buy them at a discount to shoot them or to feed them to livestock.
And you can find a full list of everything to do on our website, WFMYnews2.com, or you can just text the word fall to 336-379-5775 and we will respond with a link to fall events in our area.
Look at the fun. This is what my neighborhood looks like. I take the dog on a walk every morning and it's still dark outside and we get treated to all the decorations in the neighborhood. Some spooky, some just fun. And I would say about 10% of our neighborhood is probably decorated, but the people who decorate are like all in.
They go all out for it.
Yeah.
I see that during Christmas. You see like half people, you know, they go like halfway in.
I think, and Christmas, I think you probably have maybe 80% of the houses probably decorated.
That's true.
Halloween, not as many.
But if you're in, you're all in.
You're
a spooky
all in.
enthusiast.
Yes, you have all the things. And I think outside decorations are different than indoor, right? Because outside it's like a commitment, right? Inside is like, I can have a pumpkin and it's fall. What do you have in your homes?
A pumpkin.
I have one cute little pumpkin that I got to decorate with my friends. We had like a pumpkin decorating thing, whatever thing you like to call it, and it was very fun and I love it. It's cute.
Now, is it a jack-o'-lantern or is it
It's a fake pumpkin with paint on it.
Very good.
But it looks real.
And you'll have it for next year.
Yes,
And it doesn't rot. When you do a jack-o'-lantern, it just rots away.
It does.
It's kind of gross.
It looks cool for a very short time.
That's right.
All right, so let's see what ConsolidatedCreditCard.com says about Halloween spending. Like, how much are we spending on all those decor? According to the numbers, the average spending per household on Halloween is just $108, which I thought was kind of low. I want you to look at the graph on the right. It's got candy, costumes, and decorations all about the same on that pie chart, about $30-some a piece. Take a look at the witch on the bottom to the left. That stat says 23% of people spend as much on decorations for Halloween as they do for the winter holidays. And you know, I was trying to think about that, and I was thinking, what other holiday do people decorate outside for besides Christmas and Halloween?
I don't know.
I don't think any.
Yeah.
Maybe like Easter, or but
Maybe.
not much.
Easter.
Maybe.
I
Not
can see
much.
Easter, not a much, but yeah, I can see that though.
4th of July? I don't know.
4th of July. Yeah.
Maybe, like they got the flags and stuff, but it's just not usually blow-ups and
No.
all that other kind of lights and all that kind of jazz. And I think home decor is one thing, but I saw this on the road, riding about town. Ready? The skeleton pirate was peeking out. Okay, this one right here is the driver's one. This one to me says like, look, ma, no hands. This one to me looked like, is that Leonardo DiCaprio and is he on the front of the Titanic? That's what that looked like to me.
That's exactly what
That's what that looked like to me. Although I will tell you that both of them, when you see them and you're on the road, they make you laugh, but they also go, what is that hanging out of that car?
No. So one time I saw a hand sticking out, like as if they smushed the hand
Yes,
down.
yes.
That was kind of creepy, and it had drips of like, you know, obviously fake blood going
Right.
out of it, like someone was like, you know, abducted or something. It was weird.
That's when the 911 calls happen.
Sure, because you're like, what is that?
Yeah.
You think you could get a ticket for that?
I think maybe if it is hindering your view or something of that nature.
See, I thought about that with the skeleton though, just kind of sitting up there like that, you know.
But it's not hindering anybody's view, and it's not hindering the driver's view. It's not
True,
like something
yeah.
that's like, you know, from their rear view mirror that's like all over the place, like those fuzzy dice.
The
and
dice,
stuff. You're not supposed to have those.
Yeah.
Right?
Just remember you have it before you go through the car wash or something.
That's true. Now we do have a coworker who has a skeleton riding in the back seat of her car. Have you not seen it here?
No.
This is a decoration?
Jessica, yes.
Okay, good.
She has a skeleton in the back seat of her car, like, hey, look who I picked up.
We got to get a picture in one day.
Can you
'cause I gotta see
pass
what that
on the
looks like.
carpool lane, you know, if
In
you
the hub, right? It's an extra person.
No.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Don't
All right.
take my advice.
I have one last thing to show you, and to me, this I was like, oh, this is the biggest trick-or-treater I've ever seen. And this is in my neighborhood as well. So if he walks up my driveway on Halloween, I'm going to dump the whole candy bucket in his in his treat bucket because that's a big dude.
Two men from the Naples Shelter for Abused Women and Children in Florida are on a mission to raise gentlemen by breaking down toxic masculinity.
The pair visits public schools to teach children about violence and how to avoid it. The duo teamed up to show children how physical aid and verbal aggression, especially toward a spouse, is not acceptable.
Pick up your hands and take a look at them. Some of our hands are bigger, some of them are smaller, some of them are lighter, and some of them are darker. But all of our hands are good, and they're all made for helping.
It's really a simple message. Your hands are not meant for hitting.
Good job, friends. Good job. My name is Mr. Tony, and I'm from the shelter. Have any of my friends heard of the shelter before?
No! Antonio Garza and Jordan Davenport are on a mission with the Naples Shelter for Abused Women and Children. The pair goes school to school in Collier County to teach children at a young age about violence.
And then once we connect, we just kind of break things down one day at a time.
And the hope is to stop domestic violence once these children are older.
In that situation, like he says, we first start off with positive because we do like to believe positivity should come first, and then we work into what you're not supposed to do with your hands. It put in the situation that when someone hits, it hurts a person's body and it hurts a person's feelings too. It can go multiple ways. So we give them multiple examples of a child looking like he just got hit and he looks like he's a little distressed. And they can quickly see through through visual examples that it does cause the other child pain.
Garza and Davenport also spearhead another initiative called Raising Gentlemen. They take in young guys and show them what a good male role model actually looks like.
And I think that breaks down everything for them at a young age where they can remember these things as they get older, so they don't have to typically deal with issues like that going into middle school or high school. And if they do come up with that issue, then they will be able to know how to handle it.
To Raise a Gentleman, the pair preaches empathy, problem solving, a sense of personal belonging, respect of differences, even how a modern relationship with cell phones can stay healthy.
It'd be our tracking systems and how we have in our phones. I brought up the idea that we shouldn't track each other on our phones because that can also lead to unhealthy relationships. And a situation where a bunch of men quickly went, "Aw," or even women in the crowd went, "Aw," and they were all just like, and we're very perplexed, like, "Oh wow, that can be considered toxic." And they were all just starstruck because some of them also do that, but maybe not necessarily in an unhealthy way, but they quickly notice how that could possibly become unhealthy.
Well, many of you grasp on to the fall and the beautiful foliage it brings. Out in the Midwest states like Colorado, they can't wait to begin winter. Not that they hate autumn or anything, but Colorado is one of America's top skiing destinations, and it's a big economy boost for places like Keystone. Spencer Wilson shows us how one ski slope is getting started without the snow in the forecast.
At the base of the River Run Gondola in Keystone, you can look around and see that there's still a long way to go in terms of the base, at least. But we're still talking about opening day here, and it's mostly because of these snow machines. While it may not look like a lot right now, thanks to their snowmakers, their terrain further up the mountain could actually come online as soon as possibly Halloween. At least they're hoping, if these things do their job. Keystone got the snow machines going last week when temperatures dropped low enough. But things warmed up again, so the machines have stopped. Rest assured, as soon as the snow will stick again, these things will kick back up.
We've got weather stations on every single one of our fan guns on the front side, so they can detect those temperatures in real time and make snow on the spot.
And while a lot of this does play into what Mother Nature gives to the mountains and for how long, there is an element that comes from human intervention, at least making the most of the conditions given.
If we're able to make snow around the clock for 24 hours, we can get this mountain open in 2 to 3 days.
But that's a big if. Getting 3 days of perfect conditions around the clock simply isn't happening right now. And there's portions of Keystone that can't directly benefit from snow machines, like the 550 new acres coming from the Bergman Express lift opening this year for the first time.
A lot of that terrain over there is really fueled by Mother Nature when it comes to snow.
Still, while the bottom may be bare, it's the tops and middle ranges of the mountains that opens resorts. And for those hungry skiers and riders, any taste of snow is worth it.
It's incredible that you can make snow. We actually had a North Carolinian last year because we got no snow or had no snow. They were able to make something because the temperatures were right?
Yeah, if it's cold enough and dry enough, all you need are these like super fine water droplets to like shoot them in the air, and then they can freeze and make that snowpack. So ski resort's been doing this a long time. You can kind of make one at home with some stuff you can get at Home Depot. If you know what you're doing, you can kind of make your own. It's a little tricky, but it's impressive, isn't it?
It is. It's one way to get snow. I know, I will say that's not near what you can get when you get real snow because it's so powdery and fluffy.
Right. And in North Carolina, a lot of times our ski resorts are relying on that. Like without making their own, sometimes it can be tough to come by.
And that's where you get your skills when you're skiing though, because it's ice pretty much.
True. We didn't get any snow last year.
Yeah, really.
First time in 30 years. Crazy stuff.
It is crazy stuff.
No snow in the forecast right now. Probably not a shock. We are going to get a little warmer every day. It's already pretty warm right now. 67 is your current temperature in Greensboro. That's about average for this time of year. The average high is 69. Now, current temperatures, not going to be what we see later on tonight, of course. We are cooling down, getting down into the 40s, and yes, even some 30s is what you wake up to early tomorrow morning. We have a frost advisory for parts of our area. All that means is take a little extra care of your outdoor plants if you want to keep them around, the summer ones anyway. Otherwise, they could get damaged. That's the only night this week to worry about the frost. The rest of it getting warmer. That's your forecast. We're coming up back after this.
One, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Mic check. Nixon Norman.
Go back. 109876543221. 1098765432.
Hello, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hi, Brett. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hi there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. The weather warmed up, but the temp.
Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together.
It's time for my 2 cents. I love spending quality time with friends and family. Whether it's a birthday party or a holiday dinner, I always look forward to the activities my loved ones have planned. However, when the roles are reversed and I'm the person hosting the event, I can sometimes get hosting anxiety. 2 of my close college friends are coming to visit me this weekend. I want to show them all the great things the Triad has to offer. From the amazing restaurants to museums and wineries, there is so much ground to cover in just a few days. 5 foolproof ways to overcome social anxiety while hosting. Here are just a few. Plan ahead. Having a set plan will help you to feel more confident and in control of the situation. Focus on your guests. Putting your energy on your guests will help you to feel less self-conscious and more engaged. Be yourself. Remember, your guests are here to have a good time and spend quality time with you. I'm still ironing out some of the details, but regardless of what we do this weekend, I'm sure they'll have the best time yet. That's my 2 cents. I'll see you on the Good Morning Show tomorrow. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
The weather warmed up, but the temperatures are going to be going back down. Most of the Triad will be under a frost advisory tonight.
Yeah, and don't be surprised to see frost again when you wake up. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley joins us now. Tim, how long can we expect these temperatures?
Well, I'll tell you what, this